Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 47 of the PTFooty podcast. I'm your host, Peter. I'm joined today by Sam,
Hello.
Zach,
What's up, everybody?
and
Good return.
and special guest Gonçalo.
Hi everyone.
Um Kevin couldn't be here today, unfortunately. He had some big issues coming up and he couldn't be on. But we have Gonçalo from B24, obviously. Most of you probably know him. So, Gonçalo, how are you, man?
I'm fine. Glad I'm finally here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to have you. So we're going to go straight into the games. Man, I want to wait. I want to spend some time on all the games really because all of them we have so much to talk about. So we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start. All right, we're going to start with Sporting. We're going to start with Sporting.
They
Obviously-
played? I didn't realise.
I think it was like, was it Sunday morning? Maybe it was Sunday
Yeah.
morning.
Sunday morning.
I think it was 6:45 in the US for those that want to know what time it was. The game, in case you guys missed it, and probably as most of you know, Sporting lost to Belenenses 3-1, despite being 1-0 up at one point because of Bruno César. But Patricio was in goals, Keloto Coates, Paulo Oliveira, and Marvin Ziegler across the back, with William and Adrian in the midfield. Mateus Pereira in for, I presume, a suspended Gelson. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I think so.
Bruno César, Brian Ruiz, and Bas Dost. And Sam, I'm going to let you start. And from the highlights, because you couldn't watch the game at the time you were working, what was the feel of the game from the highlights that you could watch?
I just don't understand how Bruno César's a professional footballer, honestly. He is awful. Like, he scored, but I could have scored that. My nan could have scored that. My dog probably could have scored that. It was pretty much an open goal. That the keeper did fumble it, but and Bruno César, I would say, was at fault for two of the Belenenses goals as well. So yeah, from the first half, we looked I wouldn't say dominating, but much better than we did in the second. We had more possession of the ball, it seemed. We had better chances, but then getting onto the second half, just seemed to collapse, and I'm not really sure why. Just like you watch it. I watched the first 20 minutes before I had to go to work, and I was like, okay, I should come home and it'll be like 3-0 to Sporting. Then when I got off work, checked the score, 3-1 Belenenses. I was like, I looked at my phone, I was like, this can't be right. The app's wrong. Come on, stop playing games. And then I checked it was real. I was like, oh, I don't know. It's just shocking, really.
Can we talk about the goals before we move on to what Gonçalo thought of the game?
That's fine.
I mean, one of them. Let's not mention about the penalty. I mean, I think it's a good call.
Yeah, it is a penalty. No doubt
Okay.
about it.
Let's talk about the two free kick goals that you concede. Sam, is there a word to describe the defense on those two plays?
It is, but it wouldn't be very PG if I were to say. But just for this one, shit. That's my word.
What needs to change from what you saw in the set piece defending? Were the players just not concentrated from what you saw? Was it poor marking? Was it a bit of everything?
I don't know, maybe because they started so early that a few of the players were partying the night before, seeing like they were out of it, maybe needed an extra hour's rest. They were just like ball watching, standing around. Like I said, Bruno César already mostly, I'd say, at fault, definitely at fault for the first, and you could say the second as well. But I'd say Paulo, not the second. I would say the second. When it came across him, and instead of kicking it, he just like sort of put his leg backwards, which was very like suicidal defending, pretty much. So hopefully. I think, like I've said before, of this whole season, the main problem we have is with our fullbacks. And a good team doesn't work without good fullbacks. Look at Juventus tonight. Dani Alves, he's one of the best, if not the best fullback in the world, or you could say of all time. But Juventus clicks so well because he is such a good defender, such a good attacker as well. But with Schelotto and Zegler, they can go on the attack, but the defending is awful. It's like they might as well not be there. And you're like, oh, okay, so Zegler's been pretty shit all this season, and it's like, oh, bring on Jefferson, but Jefferson's not that much of an upgrade either. And who are we going to bring in instead of Schelotto? As a guy, the worst player in the team, no doubt, maybe joint with Castaños.
You know who you need?
Who do we need?
Eliseo.
Anything is an upgrade on fucking Marvin Zegler. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know.
the link with Cohen Trial, I don't want him to be there, but like I said, anything is an upgrade on Marvin.
Cohen
so
Trial should go.
I don't want him there because I'm not sure if you've seen Zach on his Facebook about a couple of years ago. He said he'd only play for Benfica in the Portuguese league, and he also his wages I think would be too much for us to sign him on anyway.
Yeah, he'll probably go to China. To be fair.
Good, go to China.
We'll see.
I could see him returning to Benfica. To be fair, so.
Which one was actually
He'd actually have a-
versus Rua from Benfica this week at the stadium.
He was at the stadium.
According to reports, I didn't see any picture, but I saw the news reporting this.
Oh, wow.
I think I actually saw a picture of that, but I might be wrong. Might be one
Yeah,
before.
Cohen Trial was watching the Rio Ave game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Gonçalo, did you watch the Sporting game?
Yeah, I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I watched. Yeah.
What did you thought about the game from what you could master out of your attention that you were paying to the game?
I mean, I didn't really know how to explain it. Sporting, they didn't play well, but they also didn't play that bad to lose 3-1. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain. I think that the players just fell asleep. Don't know why.
Right.
But William didn't have a good game, in my opinion. The crosses, I don't remember seeing like 2-3 crosses, 3 decent crosses to Bastos. That was a big problem.
Yeah. So the midfield wasn't working. The wingers weren't working. They missed Gelson a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. I mean, moving on a bit from the game and with what Bruno Carvalho said, Sam, I want to get your thoughts on the statement. I'm not going to exactly say what he said because I'm translating it, but roughly at one point during his interview, he said, I don't care how good our tech is during the game. That is, I just want to win. Was that a direct statement at JJ saying, figuring it out, man, or else you're going to go?
Probably, but I'd agree with that statement as well. Like I said, our attacking is fine. It's the defending that lets us down. Obviously, Bastos is, I think, was it 32 goals this year? So attacking is fine. It's just, Zegler and Schelotto let us down when we need them the most. I think the centre backs sometimes as well, but mostly the fullbacks.
But there is a point that is under. I don't want to call it underrated because it isn't underrated. That it's overlooked. There we go. By JJ's teams is that they normally don't defend that well. We're talking about with Benfica consider about 26, 27 goals per season. And when you're comparing it to Porto that have like 15 goals conceded this year and Benfica that have like 17, 18, that's 10 goals. That's a big margin.
Yeah, but I think I don't remember who said this statement as well. I saw it, I think yesterday. It was the Sporting have more, I can't remember what the exact wording was, but it was like their B team has more passion and desire than some of the players that play for their A team at the moment. And I completely agree. You got people like, I know I've said attacking is fine, but Gelson Darlow scored pretty much every other game for the B team, but still Luke Castaños hasn't scored since 2015, continues to be on the bench every single game, and it just doesn't make sense to me. And with the fullbacks as well, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch the Sporting B a lot, but Zegler and Scalotto, what have they done to keep earning their place in the side? They don't do anything. So why not take a gamble on youth? I know George Jesus isn't that guy who gambles on youth, but what was there to lose? We weren't going to win the title. Second is pretty much out of the picture as well. So maybe next game just
you had a chance to go second. I mean, it wasn't exactly the easiest thing in the world, but you would have pulled it back. Yeah, no, I know, but I was saying that you cracked under the pressure of getting second place. Second place for a team that wants to compete for a championship and can't even make it to second place.
It was. Do you know what it was? It was karma for me tweeting that thing about the best chokers, including Porto, and then Sporting the next day go and lose 3-1 to Belenenses. So
after being 1-0 up, that helps.
Exactly. So.
The problems just keep accumulating.
Yeah, and honestly, if George Jesus leaves this summer, I don't really care. Like I would have, if you asked me that in January, I would have said he needs to stay. But now, I don't care. He can leave if he wants. just as long as it doesn't cost our club anything, he can leave.
Yeah.
Who would you replace him with?
Oh, good question.
You've got the Guimarães manager.
Pedro Martins.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard Porto were after Martins.
Yeah, he's. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's got 4 consecutive
I don't
European.
know if you sack Nuno.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Soon, but
they might. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
But Porto didn't even spend much. I know. I'm just saying Porto didn't even spend much last summer.
No, they didn't.
Right? They spent it on the Poitre and they barely bought anybody. They were Philippe.
With that question as well, Abel for Sporting Braga. I know he's not their permanent manager, and I know he probably wouldn't come back to Sporting because he left on bad terms with Bruno de Carvalho. But I really like his style of play when he's played against Sporting twice, and he's managed to make a great game out of it. When you think an interim manager wouldn't do that, but his tactics. I think
Braga has been a pretty big disappointment this season. In my
Definitely,
opinion.
I think we have to talk about it at one point as well because that is really interesting.
This?
Braga about
okay,
Braga. Yeah. But yeah, good point, Gonçalo. What do you think of Zach's question? If you could bring up a manager for Sporting, who would it be?
Gonçalo.
He's thinking.
Gonçalo Machado.
He's probably thinking. Give him a moment. Okay. I just threw that out to him just out of nowhere. So he's
Senhor Machado saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we'll scroll back to you in a moment. We'll get back to you, Gonçalo. Don't worry about it. I kind of got lost. Okay, so there's a small thing that I do want to point out though is that I'm scared that Sporting, and I'm sorry Sam to use this word, but ruins managers again, because there were some guys in the past that were doing a good job in smaller clubs. I don't know if you guys remember Paulo Sérgio back at Guimarães, and then he switched to Sporting, and then he got sacked. It wasn't just him; there were more. So I'm kind of scared if we see one of those guys make the jump, that Bruno Carvalho pulls the trigger on them too early or doesn't let them work, or simply because of what he spent with JJ, cleans up the cost with the next manager, saying, hey, you're not going to have a big transfer budget. You're going to have to work with 10 million, 15 million, whatever it is. Do you fear that, Sam?
Yeah, obviously, because like you said before, there are some managers that did really well. I'm not sure if Ricardo Sapinto was one of them, but I remember him being a manager.
He was one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember. It's
okay.
Yeah, my dad saying, like, obviously I didn't watch a lot of Portuguese football back then, but my dad was saying, oh, he's done wonders with smaller clubs, and he was a former sporting player as well, so he'd be one of the homegrown managers, I guess you could call them.
He was decent though. I don't think he was the biggest guy that not really the guy that you need. He's not the greatest of examples, in my opinion, but he is part of those examples of managers. Maybe if it would have been groomed a little bit better, maybe right now they'd be in a different place. That's what just kind of scares me with Sporting, is that there's good Portuguese managers. I'm just scared that the instability that they have at the club, and maybe the lack of transfer budget would hamper them, because it's not like every manager is Rui Vitória. Because if you guys remember, back at Guimarães, they had a small transfer budget, and by the end of the season, you were seeing about like 7 players from Guimarães B playing on the A squad. And I'm not quite sure if there's a manager like him to be at Sporting.
There is obviously examples that you said, but there's also managers, even like Leonardo Jardim, who came to Sporting and did well in his first season. Got Marco Silva, he came and won the Taça de Portugal in, I believe, his
but there's a small difference.
Go on.
The club had stability because he was the first couple of years of Bruno Carvalho. The club is completely different mentality-wise 4 years ago than it is right now, because you promised, as a president, you promised titles to your fans, and if you bring a manager that you know isn't going to give you a title in about like 3 years, and I'm talking about a league title, the fans aren't really going to accept it. They're not going to accept that there's a project going on.
But that's why Bruno de Carvalho, we made him renewed his presidency, because we believe we can still win titles with Bruno, and we believe in his choice of manager, even though this one obviously hasn't been the best choice. But I still believe that he could find a good manager to suit Sporting's tactics and style.
But in the end of the day, if Sporting don't win, if they finish third, let's say that they change manager, they finish third. Do you think that the manager that finished third can be there for the next season? Do you think that the fans aren't just going to turn on him, and that he's going to be able to work at Sporting?
It depends
because that's the scary thing.
If you say third, but we win, I don't know, Taça de Portugal, Taça de League, something like that, I guess there's obviously some like positives in a negative situation, like with the Marco Silva's reign. Mm-hmm. But if it was just third with no trophies, unless your name is Jorge Jesus and like a very well-known Portuguese manager, or just manager in general, I don't think you get a second chance like Jorge Jesus has this year.
Exactly. Gonçalo, so what I asked you before is if you had any managers in mind for Sporting.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I choose any day Pedro Martins, although I don't see Jorge Jesus leaving the club. I just don't see that happening. But if I had to choose one, it will be Pedro Martins, and I don't see anyone else that could be good enough for Sporting.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Bruno Carvalho would be able to give him space away from the fans in case things didn't go, exactly great in the first year?
I mean, it's Bruno Carvalho. He's unpredictable. I really can't answer that. In the first year, he will protect his coach, but in the next years, if things don't go well, he's unpredictable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I agree.
All right. Yeah, that was good. So is that it on the Sporting games? Is there anything else you guys would like to say?
I'd just like to add a couple more things. Just
go right ahead.
In case Bruno or Jorge Jesus is watching or listening, should I say? Get rid of Castaños. Get rid of Bruno Cesar. Get rid of Zegler. Get rid of just get rid of all the dead wood that we don't need. And if we don't have the money to bring players in, invest in youth, like all of us have been saying for quite a while. But we don't need, say, the Brian Ruiz is like the 30-year-old free agents that come off not a stellar season, although Brian Ruiz in his first season with Sporting was good. But we don't want a player that is good for one season and shit the next. We want a player that has 2 consistent good seasons or even 3. And then, obviously I'm not saying if they, like with Gelson Martinez, had 2 consistent seasons, probably going to leave next summer. Who knows? We just want a reliable players at the end of the day. And let's hope next year Bruno makes George Jesus invest in more youth players like Gelson, Dalla, and Mateus Pereira, even give him more game time to Valente.
Finish off on Sporting. They have a difficult game coming up against Feirense this weekend.
Gelson Dalla is training with the A squad, so he might see minutes in that game, to be fair. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Season's pretty much over anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. So might as well just give the youth a chance.
Do it. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to Marítimo Porto then. Obviously, as you guys know, Porto had 2 very difficult games. The one against Chaves, they managed to win, I'd say easily. Not too much happened in that game. But then they had to go to the Madeira where they tied. I think it's their 6th season without a win at the Madeira against Marítimo. But Otávio did manage to score first for Porto, but José tied the game up for Marítimo. Casillas was in goal. Fernando from the B team was the right back.
Fernando.
What?
Didn't you see the name of his shirt?
Right. Oh God, how did Porto do that? Unbelievable. But Fernando and not Fernando, Porto get it right. Felipe Marcano and Alex Telles across the back with Ruben Neves playing again in the absence of Danilo, and Andre and Herrera in the midfield with Brahimi, Otávio and Soares. Gonçalo, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to ask you what you thought of Fernando, because I didn't really think he was that good.
I mean, it was his first game.
I know. But that's exactly the thing. Leaving out Layun was already a big risk, in my opinion, because many people don't like him, but he's not bad. And I think that Marítimo figured out
defensively.
He's not worse than Fernando. At that point, when I don't think he was mentally ready for that game. Yeah, the guy that played it right back. The guy that played right back. But okay, Gonçalo, overall thoughts on Fernando, after his first game with Porto's A squad?
I actually didn't think it was too bad. Of course, it could be better. Layun also didn't get called. I think it's not because of his performances on the pitch. I think he's having some internal problems. But Fernando Fonseca, he showed strength. He showed that he believes in his talent. He worked a lot really. But I think he was also a bit shy. He didn't want to do much more than just defending. And maybe a player like Layun or Maxi would be a bit better to improve in offensive terms. But yeah, I think it was average, but far from a bad performance.
Right. Okay, this is where I come in and just completely rip the guy. No, not really. But I do have some things to point out. And I want to start off by saying I understand everything that's going on, but you're 3 games away from the end of the season. You're fighting for first place, and I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but if it's something you can overlook, you would overlook for a game, because Fernando didn't play bad. Don't get me wrong, but he was a liability at the back, and going forward, he didn't. I know that they didn't really create a lot of danger from his side, but most of their attacks were coming from his side because they knew that he was the most unexperienced guy on the pitch. He couldn't help going forward. Otávio had to stay back a lot to help him out, and Otávio isn't even the most, the best defensive guy they got going on. And I think it was a terrible decision by Nuno, unless what Layun did was, unforgivable. But Zach, I'm gonna let you go here on Fernando.
I mean, it's hard to kind of underestimate off the field issues. I think we always think that just patch it up, but when it's the end of the season, when you got to be fully concentrated 100%. I mean, I don't blame Nuno for dropping Fonseca if there was some serious off-the-field issue. I actually like Fonseca a lot. I was considering putting him in my list, but I didn't.
Oh, thanks,
I don't
Zach.
think he's as good.
Too kind.
I mean, yeah. I don't think he's as good of a prospect as Dalot, but he's good.
Isn't Dalot left back though?
I thought Dalot was a right back actually.
Gonçalo.
Dalot is a right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did he pick Fernando over Dalot then?
Dalot is with the under-20 national team, getting ready for the World Cup.
So he couldn't be for that.
There you go.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is the reason.
Okay. Sorry, Zach, go on.
Look, I mean, yeah, that is unfortunate, but Porto team has kind of gone stale. I mean, they haven't played good football, but they've been solid defensively. So there are a lot of.
Sorry, I was going to say, isn't that Nuno's MO though?
Yeah, it is him. It is his MO, but I mean, I just think that Porto needs to decide whether they want that because there were a lot of questionable. I think just questionable decisions there. Like just over the season, I never understood why he played Herrera so much. I would have played Oliver in that game. I always liked Otavio, so I'm glad he played well. And yeah, that was for me the only positive to take from Porto's standpoint, just Otavio's performance, because I really think he is. I don't know what his potential is, but he is a very special player. If he can get the goals, he's going to cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to make of this season for Porto, honestly. Like, I mean, they dried up their defense, which was, obviously terrible last season and the seasons past, but there's still that, I think that a lot of Porto fans fear that sorry to put it this way, Sam, but that they're going to become like Sporting is right now, like go through a total dry spell and basically have Benfica run shit for the next decade. So I do think that there needs to be some serious decisions because, for example, I think that I don't think the squad is that good. I mean, I don't think Benfica's is that good either in comparison to previous seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously better, but I do think that they should be able to compete, but their fullbacks are just they're just terrible. And,
I mean, there's a couple players. Sorry to cut you off, but there's a couple players that I can see make Porto players that I can see, that I can tell you that they're very good players. So I personally don't enjoy Felipe's playing style, but I can't deny that he's a good player. Marcano is a good player. Yeah. Alex Telles is a good player. I personally like Andre.
Danilo.
You got Ruben Neves, even Oliver Torres. Otavio. Obviously, some of these players you gotta groom though. You gotta let them grow. They're not exactly. And by the yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say. You said about Alex Telles. The guy that's got like 11 assists in the season, isn't he? Exactly.
Okay, but
I know he's not the best. And do our fullbacks really need to defend? Like big team fullbacks, they need to be solid.
It's
I mean, Eliseu.
That Semedo has learned how to defend,
Yeah, but look at Eliseu. Everybody bashes the guy, but the truth is, Grimaldo has defended worse than him. And I mean, everybody's Eliseu can't defend. Yeah, but I'm saying that they don't need to be excellent defenders. They just need to, not suck. Unlike Marvin.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
Whoa.
No, I mean, in terms of like perennial Champions League teams, I don't think there's a worse team in terms of fullbacks than Sporting Lisbon. But I mean, Porto, yeah, it's just annoying because Porto, I thought they were gonna go, they were gonna challenge, but I don't think that this Porto team really did that. I think the title was kind of lost after, I don't know, what was that? The Marítimo game, like back in April? I don't know. I can't remember who they played, but
I mean, it wasn't. They
that
played.
game,
I
think
they played. They played Setúbal at home and tied. They played Feirense at home and
Setúbal.
tied. And you can't drop points. I mean, you just can't drop those points.
Yeah, and exactly, like, cause like I think that sorry, who did Porto play again? I totally lost.
Wait, who? What this week?
Like last game. Who do they
Marítimo.
Yeah, they've got an incredible home record. So even that isn't that
They beat Benfica, for God's sakes.
I know, exactly. So that's I think that was definitely a less winnable game than like
Chaves,
for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, Chaves is a tough team. I mean,
but they're still. I know. I got you. Moving a little bit away from playing and more to a mental side of things. Gonçalo, you're obviously used to seeing Porto dominate. We all are. And I remember a couple years ago when Benfica dropped points, Porto fans are like, okay, this is it. We're going to win and we're going to go past them. And it normally happened. A couple years ago with Lopetegui, they had that chance. It didn't happen. They had that chance now with Nuno. Several games. It didn't happen. Why do you think that they crack under pressure?
That's the $1 million question. I really wish I could know that. They kind of feel the pressure. They're I don't know. They don't play the same when they know that if they win, they can make some pressure on Benfica, or they can get through to the first place. It's just a mind problem. I think Nuno doesn't change a lot the team, apart from this week with Fernando Fonseca and Otávio. But they had a couple of times where they could make some pressure on Benfica, and they played with their usual team, and they didn't win. I remember once that they actually played well. It was just they were unlucky, but the rest of the games it's just a mind problem. I think.
Yeah.
I really can't say anything tactical that I see that isn't working. I think it's just their mind. They're feeling the pressure.
Right. Right. That's a good point. And I mean, I think that's the case. There's also something that I don't like when Nuno's speech is that he tries. I think their players are scared of pressure when they should embrace it, because looking at Nuno's speech, whenever they won. And they were the same points as Benfica, he'd go, oh, now the pressure's all on Benfica. They got the pressure. We're okay. But whenever Benfica play first and win, he doesn't embrace the pressure. He doesn't even mention that there's pressure to win. And isn't that maybe? I get it why he does it, but can't that be wrong?
You're probably right. I think. They just start the game thinking, yeah, it's a normal game, we're gonna win, and probably they shouldn't start like that. They should win from the first minute to the last minute, try to win it.
Yeah.
And I saw in a lot of Porto games that if they don't score in the first, like, say 20-30 minutes, they start getting slower. The plays aren't so fast as we are used to see.
Yeah.
And that's what happens most of the times. They need to score early to if they want to win when there's these big games where they can make some difference in the table.
Right. Zach, is there anything that you would like to say about their playing style?
On Porto?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Maybe.
mean, no, I think that just, I mean, to my point in the thread earlier, Dynasty was really built on TPO, but also just like that South American flair, you know, Falcao, Jackson,
James, Hulk.
yeah, you know, Hulk, list goes on and on. But when they lost that, I do think there was kind of, you know, they couldn't rely on individual talent anymore. I mean, when Falcao and Moutinho moved on, that was really the end of the Porto dynasty. I think you could pretty much tie the, you know, UEFA and Liga NOS getting more strict about TPO to the decline of Porto. But I just think this style is just too dry. I don't think Oliveira has enough freedom to operate and reach his potential. I don't think that the fullbacks are good enough. So I think that it is an individual problem because these aren't amazing. Like, I mean, I think that the only player that really wows me is Brahimi. I mean, Danilo is solid and Taquinho has some goals in him, but really it's just not that good at the side.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be some shakeups this summer.
Yeah.
And I want to see them do well because I think it is important also for Benfica too. It's important to have competition in your league.
Right.
Post. You know. So
yeah. And it makes your
mean,
wins better. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
you want to
no
beat the
offense
best.
to Benfica, they deserve this league very much, but I mean, this is the league is at a pretty low point in my opinion right now. Just like it's just so weak. I mean, I think that
I know
this Porto team is just pretty terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Gonçalo, I have one more question for you before we move on from Porto. And I remember Kevin mentioning Vitor Pereira. Do you think that Vitor Pereira would do anything different with this team?
Different, I think so. Better, I don't know. He's not doing really well in his recent teams. He's actually been recently almost getting relegated with his second division side from Germany. Things didn't work well at Fenerbahce as well when he actually had a decent team. But I mean, Porto is his home. So maybe he could do a better job, but his recent work doesn't show that. So it will be a risky option for Porto, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. The only reason why I brought that up is because I believe that despite Vitor Pereira has qualities, but he had a team with James. I'm not sure if he had Falcão, but I think he did for at least a season. He had Jackson Martinez, he had Hulk, he had Moutinho, he had superstars that at this point Porto will never have at that level.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was trying to make with Kevin. Just like Kevin wanted him back, but honestly, this, you know, I don't think he's that much better of a coach, if anything, than Nuno. I just think that this Porto squad is just pretty bad, honestly.
I think they got the most of it. They got the best of what they could out of those players.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this team just, I'm sorry, it wasn't built to win a title. Maybe win in Europe. I mean, win to get Champions League qualification, but it wasn't made to win. I mean, here for Portugal, so they could have won it, but it's just this team is just not that good. I mean, then look back to like 2 seasons ago. it wasn't even that good of a squad, but they still had, Casemiro,
Miro, yeah, that was a huge help.
Jackson, quality players.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Porto. It's gonna be an interesting.
They need to buy
offseason.
some, and they should also honestly consider selling. I would honestly consider bids for both Andre Silva and Ruben Neves.
I think it's a must.
'Cause-
I mean, not
yeah,
maybe
'cause
not
Neves
Ruben
doesn't
Neves,
even play,
unless he
and-
plays. I think
yeah,
the best
Neves
thing that
is
Porto.
great. He just doesn't play. That's the problem.
Yeah,
And-
the best thing they can do right now is just buy what you need and bring up what you have, because it still boggles my mind how you are champions of the second division and
Yeah.
you only use one player. It's
Oh,
just-
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
it baffles me.
They're not even. I think that Benfica and Sporting have a better academy, but this Porto team are actually champions.
Exactly.
And they're like, instead of using their own talent, they're bringing in young players from like other teams, like on loan, like Diego Jota, who's a great player. But shouldn't they be actually looking for their own to develop their own players?
Yeah, and I mean they know the system. They would know what it's like to be at Porto. It's different. I
Yeah.
think it's ridiculous that they only made use of Andre Silva and he was already in the A squad at the end of last season.
Yeah, they should be looking at Dalot and Rui Pedro. There's a ton.
Francisco, whatever.
And Fonseca
What's
is a good
the
player
midfielder?
too. I think he definitely has some potential.
Right,
for
and that
sure.
midfielder, that midfielder that was on to Chaves at one point.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I
Gonçalo.
forgot his name.
Francisco Ramos.
Yeah, there we go, Francisco Ramos. He's
Yeah,
also
exactly.
good.
Yeah,
All
he's a
right.
good player.
All right. Well, I think that closes the chapter on Porto, unless you guys have anything else to say.
I do, but I'll save it for another podcast.
Okay, good. Don't worry. I really want to spend a podcast just discussing each and every team. I think it's going to be really cool because there's a lot to dissect. But let's move on to the last game of today's episode. Obviously, Rio Ave lost to Benfica after a very good game. Oh, by the way, that was what I remembered. That I was going to say something, but I forgot. Now I remember. There's also one name that I could point out for Porto and Sporting, and Luis Castro, because he had a very good year with Rio Ave. Luis Castro.
Oh yeah.
According to reports, he's going to
Chaves.
Chaves.
Yeah, that'd be very good. But keep an eye out for that, because if he has another good season, I don't see him staying at a quote unquote smaller club. But yeah, like I was saying, Rio Ave lost to Benfica 1-0. Raul scored the only goal of the game. Thank God we don't have Hugo here. Else he'd be going, Salvio, calling every single one of you out. He said he was going to if he came on, so I'm glad he didn't. God damn it. But anyway, Ederson in goal, Nelson Smith, Luizão Lindelof, and Grimaldo across the back with Feza and Pizzi in the midfield. Rafa and Servi on the wings, Jonas and Jimenez. Gonçalo, I'm going to let you go in first. And what did you think of this game? Did Benfica deserve the win?
I think a draw would be fair, although I can accept the win for Benfica. I mean, Jonas made again a huge difference. He's not having his best season, but even in Raul's goal, he made the most difficult pass where he got Salvio free to make the assist for Jimenez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a suffered game from Benfica again. I didn't see Benfica doing a really good game, to be honest. A draw will be fine, but yeah, as I said, I accept the win.
Can't we give credit to Benfica for the first 15 minutes of the second half, though? Because I think that was the best spell by them, and they were really in control until Ruben Ribeiro came on.
I mean, I'm probably not the best person to comment on that because I just don't remember that part.
Oh wow. Well, you pay a lot of attention to the game. Nah, it's all right. It's all right. But yeah, I'll ask you something else in a moment. But I'm gonna go first here on the game. It was what we expected. A very difficult game. I mean, it was crazy difficult. Riwab hold the ball really well. Petrovic,
My boy.
Sam, yeah, had a good game. Missed the yellow card on a play, but that was all right. He had
I forgot to say that Benfica was also very, very lucky. That chance where Eldon missed an open goal and Gonçalo Paciência hit the post.
Oh yeah.
I still think that should have been a handball.
From Porto, and I don't remember if Eldon is still from Sporting.
Yeah, he is.
It's kind of curious that.
It was really funny because I saw a tweet, something like, and I'm not paraphrasing it, but Gonçalo Paciência from Porto hits the post. Eldon from Sporting shoots the ball wide. It's written in the stars, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's really, really funny. Benfica got real lucky on that play, but we'll scroll back into that in a moment.
What do you make of Paciencia? I think at once he was considered a bigger prospect then, or at least as big of a prospect as.
He got injured.
He fell off though, yeah.
He got injured. He had heart issues. He went to several teams, and he's done.
And I also thought he would be better than André Silva.
Yeah, me too.
He's a journeyman already, isn't he? And he's quite a youngster.
I think Rui Pedro is going to be better than both of them, to be honest.
We'll get into Rui. Jesus Christ, this guy's all about.
You don't like Rui Pedro? He's good.
I haven't seen him play. I can't say.
I actually agree. I think Rui Pedro will be not better, but much better.
Okay.
Much better.
Yeah?
Okay.
To be fair, he's young, but yeah, I just don't see much in. I'm gonna put him on my list more, but honestly, I just don't see much in.
Andre Silva, we get it.
Silva, yeah. No, I just think he's.
I get it, but okay.
Okay, do you think that he's a bigger prospect than Diogo Jota or Gedge? I mean.
No,
like,
but
okay.
listen, so we can move on. Like, so we can move on. So we can move on from this once and for all. I watched Andre Silva play when he was, at his peak of the year.
Play live.
Calm down. And I was looking at him off the ball, and he's got some very good off the ball movements.
He does, but
I think he's.
And where are those movements now?
But that's calm down, Gonçalo.
They disappeared.
I agree with Gonçalo.
He disappeared first of all because I think he played.
That good of a player.
Oh my god.
Okay, fine. Go on. Make your point.
Okay, listen.
All right.
So
I'll listen.
First of all, he started off the season well, but not great. He missed a lot of open chances since the start of the year. If you guys remember that, there's a game against Tondela where he has like the only chance Porto have of the game, and he puts the ball way wide.
Okay.
There's one. So he wasn't always consistent. He scored a lot of goals, and he gets credited to that because of his off-the-ball movement. As soon as Porto started to struggle, Suarez came on. They paired up as a 4-4-2. Porto doesn't work at a 4-4-2. André Silva doesn't work playing 4-4-2. Dude had way too many games under his belt already, so he should have been dropped way before this. I'm talking February. And, it wasn't a perfect season, but you can't give up on a player just like that because he showed that he's good. So you just gotta give it another season. That's what I think, at least half a season, because I think it's unfair to judge a guy that had good. He was good 6 months because everybody wanted him at like Arsenal and all that, and bad 6 months. So you just gotta let it settle, and we'll see.
Are we gonna give Andre Silva the Sergio Roberto Award for starting a season well but then fading out, or what?
Well, basically. I just don't like giving up on a guy just like that, and I'm not even a Porto fan. We gotta wait it out. I mean, I think you secretly have posters of Andre Silva in your bedroom. Honestly, you're a Benfica fan and you're like fangirling over them. When I honestly don't think he's that good.
I feel like Peter is about to cry.
No,
He just
listen.
isn't that good. I don't know what you're. What
He's
you're
already
thinking,
started
like-
crying.
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. Whatever you guys think. I'm gonna wait it out. I'm gonna wait it out because I saw Gadge
Like you
last
always do.
season
Alright.
play well and then play badly, and then he started the season really well this year. So we just gotta wait. But anyway, back to Benfica. Come on, people. All right. So as I was
I always want to
saying,
talk about your team. SCP.
because it's their turn.
No, go ahead. Let's talk about Benfica. Let's
It's
talk
a
about
very
the Ladros.
very good game. Very difficult. Kiwav dominated the midfield again. Benfica's had that issue a lot, and I think it's down to Pizzi not wanting to get his 50 yellow, so Benfica doesn't pressure the midfield as much. There's an issue there. I would have liked to see Filipe Augusto start, but we'll see if he gets the chance to next season or Andre Horta. Other than that, there's a couple of controversial plays that we'll get on to, but overall, I do want to point out that Sevi had a very, very good game, and please, I can't be the only one that thought that thought about it that way.
I will say that he is an amazing at what he
Yeah.
does, and I think he could win a gold medal for diving at the Olympics next year. So
That's what I thought. Yeah, right.
He did flop a lot that game, but
No,
he is very underrated, I will say.
Thank you.
At
Go,
diving. No, I'm kidding.
shut up.
Player, to be fair.
Gonçalo, what did you think of Sevi's game? 'Cause he helped out defense on the attack. What do you think of him as a player right now? And can he start for Benfica? Do you think he should continue to start?
Was it me that just felt the
No,
lag?
he just turned into a robot for a sec.
Yeah, you have to repeat the question.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad. That was weird. I was saying, y'all hear me okay now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
If
good.
I go robotic, just interrupt me, okay?
Okay.
So Servi had a very good game, defending and attacking. And Gonçalo, my question to you is, how's he right now as a player? Like, is he one of the best wingers Benfica have, and should he continue to start?
Yeah, he's one of the best. He should start. I don't know why he isn't starting all the games. I don't see.
Me too.
I don't see what Rui Vitória sees in Salvio. I think this is the question that everyone asks. Although Salvio was very important in this last game, but in the what matters is what you do through the entire season, and he was kind of bad. And Servi, I don't remember seeing him playing bad very times. I always see him working a lot. He defends well. He also makes some skills that I love to see.
Get him those 5-star skills.
Yeah, indeed. He's very dangerous on the attack, very unpredictable, and that's something that any team really likes to have, and Benfica sometimes just ignores that. Don't know why. He gives that creativity to the attack that is very, very important, and he played really well against Riwab.
Zach, don't screw me up on this. If you're projecting Servi's potential, where do you put him?
Me?
The swimming pool.
Shut up, Sam.
Maybe Di Maria. I don't know. I mean, he's. I really want to see a Servi and Sivkovic on the wings. Those are honestly Benfica's two best wingers. I think Sivkovic has higher potential, but Servi is. He's really.
He brings you.
He's something else.
He brings you something to the defense that most attackers just don't do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you're not that into the workhorse type of thing, but he has the potential to be a star player and a workhorse at the same time. Does he have a bigger ceiling than Zivkovic? No, but is he as useful or even more useful than Zivkovic to a team? Maybe. He could be, right? I'm talking. Yeah.
You asking me or?
Yeah,
what?
I'm asking you. I'm talking to you. I'm having a conversation with
okay.
you, Zach.
Okay, no, I think Servi is he's great. I think Zivkov is better, but you know, he does bring something. I don't know if he brings enough goals, but I think that he as well as
Come on.
so we're both part of that really impressive Rosario Central team in Argentina, and
Yeah.
I think they'll both go to great heights. And I think actually because of Servi's success, Benfica are after Ezequiel Barco, who
Yeah.
studied, but no, I think he's great. He's you know, Gelson is definitely the best winger in the league, but after that, he's up there.
Sam, I know what you think of him, and I have some issues with Podence as well. So you know, you gotta put that aside. Servi, if he was playing for Sporting, he would be a big help on your team, especially on defense. Do you agree with me?
Not really, no.
Oh
Honestly.
my god, you suck, man. You suck.
It's
You're
just
just biased.
so Servi plays more of like a behind the striker sort of role, right? Correct.
He's natural
winger
winger.
as well. Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
natural winger, but he can play behind the striker really
think-
well.
Depending on who plays with Gelson, be it Podence or Bruno Cesar, if we're replacing Bruno Cesar, then I'd agree. But if Podence continues to rise like he does, then I say no.
Okay.
I think it's Servi's potential. Just going from current players like Alexis or.
Who are you talking to? Who are you asking?
I'm just talking about all y'all.
Okay.
Who do y'all think?
Personally, I had the same thought as you back. I don't know, November, December. I've said it. I'm not sure if I said it in the podcast. I probably did, and I did say Di Maria. I did say Di Maria. But not to the extent of his impact going forward, but kind of like Di Maria. Maybe like a step or two below him offensively, because I have seen goals from Servi. I mean, we're talking about a guy that scored in the Supertaça, he scored in the Champions League, he scored in the Taça de Portugal, he scored in the Taça de Liga, and he scored in the Campeonato. So he scored on all competitions. And he does have a knack for being at the right place at the right time. But maybe he doesn't give you enough assists. Maybe that's the issue. But I mean, he didn't play. He only played a few amount of games, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I really hope that he plays a lot more next year, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Before we move on, I got a couple of things to talk about. But Gonçalo, were you surprised to see Jimenez play? And you know.
I think I still don't know if it was a decision based on just a free choice from Rui Vitória. I think he said that Mitroglou wasn't 100% fit, so that it could be because of that. But yeah, I was surprised. I wasn't expecting it. But I really like to see Jimenez starting. Mitroglou isn't having his best time of the season right now. Like 1 month ago, he was doing really well, but then he started not scoring many goals.
Yeah.
And the Jimenez, I always see him working really, really hard. And when he starts, not when he comes on as a sub, when he starts, he really does well, and that's what he did this week.
All right. I wanted to touch upon some refereeing decisions, if you guys don't mind. Did
Yeah.
anybody?
I saw it.
Did you get? Okay. The penalty on Rafa from Rafa. Penalty or no?
Penalty.
Yeah, penalty.
Very
Gonçalo.
lucky not to be called.
I don't really like to comment these things.
Okay.
But
Okay, I'll ask you.
Yeah, I could say in that case it's a penalty. Yes.
Okay, but I'll ask you something else in a moment then as well related to this. The penalty on Nelson Smith. If you don't
Looked
want to
outside
answer,
the
you don't
box.
have to.
For me. So
Yeah,
like a foul.
It's a foul. But it is inside the box. But thank you for that. I'll take it. Pretty even game. I didn't really like the referee overall, but it is what it is. Gonçalo, I want to ask you, what do you think of video referee being implemented into the league? Zach! Sorry, hold on. Zach!
Oh my god.
Delete Twitter. Just do it.
Such a hater, honestly, man.
Sorry, Gonçalo, go ahead.
Can't deal with this negative energy in my life.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Gonçalo.
I'm
Yeah,
muted.
it's what everyone already said. Video referee won't change everything. The referees won't be perfect now, but it will improve a lot. Some decisions that can change the game will happen, as we saw. I think it was in a friendly between France and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's really important. People will still comment about some decisions because
That's just the way it is.
yeah, people still have different opinions. The video referee will have different opinions from the public, but it still should improve a lot the referees in Portugal, and that's what matters.
Are you scared of the time it's going to take to review a play, or do you think that they'll control that really well?
I mean, with time they should improve that, but I think, as I mentioned, the France and Spain game, they weren't slow, in my opinion. Of course, it's not as fast as a normal referee, but I don't mind waiting 30 seconds, 1 minute for a decision that can change the game.
Okay, good point. All right, so Benfica are really close to the title. Does anyone think that they're going to bottle it?
No chance.
Okay. All right. Well, then let's move on to the highlight player of the week segment, then a couple questions, and then we'll get off. Who's you guys' highlight player of the week in the Liga NOS?
For me, just because of the importance of the goal, I'd probably go with Jimenez.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that goal was crucial for the Benfica's title hope. So that's mine.
Yeah. Zach, do you have a player
For what?
from the Liga NOS that you would like to highlight from this weekend? Are you gonna go Jimenez?
This weekend. You know, I mean, I think that Jimenez is. He's going to China, I think.
All right.
I never really
Do
liked
you
him. I'm gonna say Otavio.
Okay. All right. Gonçalo.
I mean, best player, I don't know, but the player with the most impact, Jimenez, in my opinion.
Okay. I'm going to go different than all you. And I'm going to go Jean Murillo. He got an assist and was taken down for a penalty that ended up winning Tondela the game. So 1 assist and 1 quote unquote assist because he got taken down, from the penalty spot. But there you go. Jean Murillo is my highlight player of the week. Portuguese highlight player of the week for me, I chose Miguel Vitor because not only were Apoel Beersheva, because champions of the Israeli league, he was also considered the best player of the league. Who do you guys highlight?
I'd agree with yours.
Okay. Everybody want to give me hop on the Miguel Vitor bandwagon?
There hasn't been much Portuguese good players this week. That's why I think that, yeah, so I'd agree.
All right, then. I want to take this moment when I'm looking at the questions to point out that there's 2 articles up on our website. I want to thank Sam's dad, Tony, for his answers. And there's also
Thank you, Tony.
and there's also a report on how Cedric has been doing in the Premier League. Thank you, Zach, for getting that.
My boy
Uh,
Cedric.
Boy, Cedric.
Yeah.
Cedric Schwarz.
Yeah. All right. So let's start off here with Kyle and Sam's questions for you. And we already discussed this, so just try and be as concise as you can. Sam, what do you think is the problem with Sporting right now? JJ, the players' lack of confidence.
You could go with all 3.
Yeah.
If I were to choose, I'd choose manager and players. Like I said, mostly fullbacks. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's another one from Kyle, and he asks Zach, if Benfica, Porto, and Sporting were put in La Liga, what positions do you think they would finish?
I could see Benfica maybe challenging for top 4. I think they're probably around the same level as let's see, Porto is a bit tough because they're so defensive, so I'm not sure how well that would exactly fit, but or probably I'd say Porto might get
7th,
6th. Maybe 7th. The problem is, well, first of all, Bilbao and Sociedad are tied, so they probably get 8th. But I just think that Porto is
too defensive.
Their system wouldn't really fit well in Spain. So I mean, if we're going context wise, then maybe like 12th. Sporting is, it's tough because Jorge Jesus actually think would do well in Spain. So I'm gonna say 10th. Probably.
Okay.
10th or 9th.
Yeah, I like it. We win. All right. So we're ending the podcast now. I'd like to thank Gonçalo for coming on today. I really enjoyed having you here.
As did I. I'm sure Zach did too.
Thank you, Gonçalo. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And hopefully we can have you on later on. That'd be cool.
Maybe.
All right. Well, this is it for today's podcast. We'll be back next week, same time as usually. Hopefully, I'll be screaming Campeões, but we'll see how it goes. This has been the PTFooty podcast crew, and we'll see you guys next week.
Ciao.
See y'all next week. Ciao, guys.